Hello, good morning and welcome to my craft room. It's Mel at Inkspired Crafts. This morning I'm doing my online class. I don't know whether people are actually doing it live with me or whether they're going to be catching up on the replay, but either way I hope you enjoy the cards we're going to make today, and thank you for purchasing the online class. It's always a bit sort of tricky to know what time and what sort of day of the week really to do these online classes, but I will be sending out the link to the recording so people can do it at their leisure, really, whenever suits them. Okay, so as it's lovely and sunny and it's quite warm in here, I'm going to get on with the crafting, and then hopefully I won't melt completely in that time. I'm hoping there won't be too much background noise. We are in the middle of decorating, and I think my husband's going to be doing some jobs, well, as quietly as possible. He's actually going to start his fan up in a minute, so you'll hear that. But for the moment, I'm going to show you the first card we're going to be making. Okay, this is using the Full of Life Designer Series paper. It's really lovely, bright and bold, and sorry, I'm just let him disappear for a minute. Okay, so in the kits that I sent out, you'll have had extra sheets of the Designer Series paper so that you can make some more cards with it. You've also got extra white sheets and some other bits and pieces, extra ribbon, extra bling. You know, there's a few extra bits and pieces so you can carry on crafting and make some additional cards. It also just, you know, shows you what the papers are like. Okay, so this says the first one, and it is unusually a black card base. Let me just pop that over there. So we have a card base. I've already cut and scored this, but it's 8 inches by 5 3/4. I'll just find, I've tried printing out the all the measurements, and my black ink's run out, so I've got it up on another screen. So in centimetres, that's 20.3 by 14.6, scored in the middle at 4 inches or 10.2 centimetres. Then we've got 2 white layers, and they're both exactly the same size, of 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches, which is 9.6 by 14 centimetres. So one's for the outside and then one for the inside. There's then a black layer which measures 3 inches by 4 1/4, which is 7.7 by 10.8 centimetres. So if you've ordered the online kit, then you will have all of the I've already sent you all of the pictures and the cut-in measurements and everything. It will also go on to my blog as soon as I get 5 minutes to upload all of that. So the pattern paper is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8, so that is 7.3 by 10.6 centimetres. And then I've already stamped out, punched out even. I've given you a couple so you can use them on a different card as well, but you've got a 2-inch circle in black and a 1 3/4 inch in white. You've got your ribbon. Again, there's probably twice as much ribbon as you need, and some of these gorgeous little gems. They're beautiful, iridescent gems. They're really pretty. And obviously you've got your envelope for each of the cards. So first things first, I'm just going to do the stamping. Put my stamping mat there, and I'm going to just take my white. I don't think, no, I didn't stamp inside. It's up to you. You can stamp another message inside if you want to. Sometimes I wait to see who I'm going to send the card to, and then I decide what I'm going to stamp or write inside. So this happy birthday is I just want to stamp that off, bear with me. It's okay. This happy birthday is from the Friends for Life stamp set. And just pop that out the way and put the lid back on my ink. And okay, so get that out there. I'm just going to stick this on first of all. Okay, so with this, it is just a case of layering it up. I'll just try and find my bone folder. Just do fold the card in half. I'm going to put one layer inside. If you do want to stamp on it and you're a bit concerned about not getting it right or smudging it, then do stamp on it before you put it in the card. And then obviously if you do, if it doesn't stamp well, you know, perfectly, if there's some ink missing or whatever reason it doesn't look as good as you would like it, then you can turn the piece of card over and use the other side. Okay, so this it's just going to be layered. It's only a very small border around the outside of the DSP, and then it's just putting this in the center as best we can by, I do it by eye rather than trying to measure it. Okay, so with the ribbon, this is, say, far more than what I need, so I'm just gonna fold it over and give it a bit of a chop. I'm going to just, that end's frayed a little bit, so I'm just going to chop that end off. Excuse me. Okay, and I just want it to sort of sit. It's not really playing ball at the moment because it's been curled, but sit like that under there. So I'm going to use my stamping seal first of all to put a bit of glue on, and this will, make sure I get it up the right way, this will hold the ribbon in place. You can play with it a bit. And then I'm going to pop some dimensionals. I'll just find my larger dimensionals, pop some dimensionals on the back. And stick that down. Okay, so now we just want to add a few of these gorgeous iridescent gems. I'm just trying to think what the actual, I know they're iridescent, what are they called? Iridescent faceted gems. They really are pretty. You get, what do you get? You get 100, so 50 of each of the sizes in a pack. They're really gorgeous, and you can obviously use them with other kits. You don't need to use them in the suite that they come in. And then I'm just gonna pop, let's get rid of that bit of putty, pop some of these on. Just to add a little bit more sparkle. Okay, so that's the first card. And as you can see, even with just using this, it's the same DSP, it's just cut differently. So, you know, you get a bit of a different look depending on which colours you end up using on that DSP. Patterned paper if you're not used to the word DSP. Okay, so that's the first one. Bear with me while I just move my stamp set out of the way and I grab the next. Okay, so for the next one we're using Adventurous Skies. It's going to be see more of a male card this time, and it is in blue. And this is the card that we'll be making. Again, you can stamp on the inside if you wish. So in your kit you will have received A4 sheets of cardstock to cut down. So I've already cut mine down and scored them to save time, because I don't want to sit here watching everything I've done when you've got a cutting sheet. This pattern paper is from Take to the Skies. It's part of the suite. Then you've got your dies to make up the plane, so I'll show you how to do that. You've got a die cut cloud just for the sentiment, and again it just goes together quite easily. So the first thing for this one is we have, sorry, bear with me, my screen's gone black. Okay, so we've got a boho blue card base, and it's 11.5 long by 4 inches in depth, scored in the middle at 5 3/4 inches. In centimetres, that is 29.2 by 10.2 and scored at 14.6. Again, I just fold that, score that ready. So you've got a white base, so a white layer which is 3 3/4 inch by 5.5, 9.6 by 14, and that's going to be glued into the middle. You then have the pattern paper in exactly the same size as the white one, and that will go on the outside. Again, you've got a strip of these lovely, there's smoky Smoky Slate and this is testing my memory skills this morning, Basic Grey pearls. So how many of these? You get 160 of these, and you've got them in 2 colours, 2 sizes. So this is a strip of both the sizes and both the colours. And these are the cutouts. We just make sure I get them all out. Oh, they're stuck. That's the cloud. You will have the other one's still in there. There. You will have 2 propellers because the die cuts out 2. You can stick 2 on if you like, or you can just stick to the one. And again, your envelope. So first things first, I'm going to do the stamping. And I'm using boho blue. You could use black, you could use a different shade of blue if you don't have this colour. You could use a grey, anything that goes really. Okay, and I'm just gonna pop that down. And simple as that. So while we're I'll just leave that. It dries pretty instant, the ink that we use, so I'll just pop it out the way for a moment. And I'm going to stick the white layer in. Should have my glasses on, I think, so that I can see what I'm doing properly. But there we go. Okay, the white layer's in. So you make sure you stick your clouds up the right way. Okay, we can stick the cloud on because that's just down in the bottom right hand corner. If you want to put it somewhere else, then you can, but I would just wait until you've made the plane up and know where you're going to be sticking that. So you've got the plain body, and then you've got this silver cutout. Okay, so there's only certain bits where the 2 bits are going to meet, so it's sort of here and on this bit here for definite. That's the biggest area, so I'm just going to put some glue on those bits, and then there'll be a bit around the wheels, so I'm just going to put a couple of little, you can hardly see them, little tiny dots of glue where I know it's going to meet. And that simply just pops on. You can move it around slightly until you've got it in the right place. Okay, now if you get one of your propellers, you can see there's like a rounded edge and more of a straighter edge this side, and that lines up with the straight edge on there. So you only need a tiny bit of glue. And then, oh, stuck to my finger instead of then just pop it on. Okay, if you want to put the other one on, you can. It's not a problem. And then we're going to just use again some dimensionals. pop that flying through the sky. Mine's at a slight angle. You don't have to put it at a slight angle. You can. And then I'm just going to use some of these I'm using the paler colours just simply because I've used it matches the colour of the card that I've used. But you can use the darker ones, it doesn't matter, they all go. And just pop those on to add a bit more sparkle. Okay, so that's card number 2. And I will just pop those to one side, move things about, get rid of stamp sets so that I can bring in the next set. If anyone's got any questions or anything, then by all means just pop them in the comments, and I do keep checking, I'll check the comments every now and then to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so card number 3 is using the Country Bird House dies and stamp set. So we have a fancy fold this time, and we've made a belly band, and then it folds out like so. So we've got pool party. Now I've already cut mine down, so it's 10.5. That's my this is my template. I tend to make templates and keep them so that I can just refer back to them at another time. So it's 10.5 by 5 3/4, which is 26.6 by 14 centimeters, and I will score that in a moment. From the piece of A4 cardstock that you'd have, I then cut a 1-inch band after cutting the main base, and that will be used for the belly band. You have a white layer for the inside, again the same size as the standard white layers have been. You then have two 1-inch by 5.5 and two 1 3/4 inch by 5.5, which is, you find them, 2.5 centimeters by 14 and 4.5 centimeters by 14. Okay, so that's those two, and then you'll have a whole host of die cuts to make the birdhouse. I'm not going to get those out just yet because I don't want to lose any little bits. So I'm going to just pop that out the way, and I'm going to bring my scoring board up. You can easily do this on the trimmer. Just need to make a bit of room so that I can bring the scoreboard up, because this one I haven't pre-scored. Make sure that you can still see what I'm doing. Just pop those round for the moment so I've got a bit more space. Okay, so this is being scored On the long side at 1 1/4, 3 1/4, 7 1/4, and 9 1/4. Okay, so in centimetres that is going to be 3.1, 8.3, 18.3 and 23.4. I'll get rid of that now for a moment. Okay, so then once you've scored your main card base, you're going to be doing a mountain and then a valley fold. Okay, so it's like that, and again on the other side, fold it back on itself to create the mountain, and then fold it in for the valley. So that's your standard card base. Okay, so we'll do the stamping next. And first of all, I will stamp the inside. I'm using Memento black ink for this, because it's on a photopolymer stamp. The clear plastic ones, I'm using it on the stamping mat. So that's that bit. And then inside here we have somewhere this little piece here, and I'm going to be stamping the happy birthday again in black. You can use another colour, it's up to you, but the black sort of works quite well on this. Okay, and again pop the ink out the way. So that's all the stamping. I can pop that down there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this, glue this inner layer into the middle. Okay, so when we're putting the DSP on the card base, we need to remember that we're putting one there, so, and then it's going to be on the other side, it's going to be here. So rather than doing it, well, you can do it flat, but remember that you've got to do those and then turn it over. So just pop some glue on there. Again, it's all about 1/8 of an inch border. Okay, then if you flip it over, and we're going to put these two pieces here. Like so. Okay, so that's your card base done. Next we're going to build the birdhouse. Some little bits stuck in the corner. Right. In the kit that I sent out, there will be some extra bits, extra flowers and leaves and things, so that you can put more on if you want, or you can use them on a different project. Okay, so first of all, we've got our birdhouse, and it's got a hole in it. Obviously, birdhouses need holes in order for birds to get in there. So rather than just sticking it down there and having the pool party showing through, you will have a square of darker wood that we're just going to stick to the back, just to make it look like it's the inside of the birdhouse. Okay, and for strength, we're going to stick this now onto another piece of cardstock. Just line it up like so. Bear with me a moment when I just... Okay, that's fine. So I was just checking everything was fine with the live. Okay, now we've got various pieces here, and we've got a tiny little bit. Now this is like meant to be a stand for a bird to perch on. I'm going to stick that on first. I'm going to use a small dimensional just to give it a bit of dimension, I guess, really. Okay, so just putting that just below, and then I'm going to layer these onto it. So bit of glue. Now this one, let's see if you can hold it up while I'm doing it. You've got some little grooves here. This is where this frilly bit lines up. Okay. Now with this one, it's quite thin, but this then lines up. It sits on top of the frilly one, just on that very edge. So again, just some small amounts of glue. This is a new Tombow, and I don't want to squeeze too hard and get tons of glue coming out. So what I do is tend to line up the one side and then the other, and it sticks down fine. This bit then is going to go here, and I'm going to put mine on again with dimensionals. So one can go up the top. If you don't have these small ones, you can cut bits from the sides of the larger ones, or you can cut the larger ones in half or something to fit along there. And then that goes up on there like so. Now we've got our happy birthday, and we've got some flowers don't know if you can see the flowers have got little embossed cut sort of bits on them, and so are the leaves. So you can bend the leaves slightly to give it a bit of a more 3D effect. You can do the same with the flowers. I'm just actually I'll use the Take Your Pick tool. Does have a scoring attachment. I think mine's in the pencil case, but exactly the same, where you've got a thin and a thick end. So I'm just going to use my scoring board one. If you just go round and round in the middle, it will lift the petals up. You need to do it on the base, and then you just want a tiny bit of glue to pop in the middle. And then I've put a tiny basic rhinestone get that off my finger and redo it. There, tiny little rhinestone in the middle. Again, you've got a strip, got some of those in the pack, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure I put a strip in rather than, so you can put more on if you want. And then with the leaves, I'm just going to sort of pop a tiny bit of glue on the stem and then set the flower onto it. Okay, and then this is going to sort of sit just on the edge. I'm going to put this bit, I don't know what you call this bit, I made it on one of my other cards. I cut it down using the die to make like a flower trough, but I don't know, I guess it's just the base of the birdhouse. I'm going to stick that first of all on there, and then I'm just going to end up with just a small amount of glue. And actually, I did put it on a dimensional. I thought I did. So I'm going to stick a dimensional on it. I'll hold it all together. And then just pop that on. Okay. Right, so we can pop that to one side while we make the belly band. Now again, I'm not scoring the belly band simply because I want it to be able to slide on and off easily, and if you score it, it will be quite a tight fitting. So if you hold the card base closed and pop your belly band piece of cardstock across the front and hold it in place, and then just bend the sides round. Okay, so it will still slide up and down. Once you've done that, you can take it off because you've got the measurements. Now you won't need all of this, and I am going to just make sure that it's a bit squarer. you can cut a piece off rather than have it all over there. And then pop some glue on. So that's your belly band. And then obviously this is the decoration to go on the belly band. And it will cover up that join. So again, we just pop some glue in the middle. And pop the birdhouse on. And then once it's dried, make sure it's dried first, you can just slide it in place. Okay, so that's the fancy fold. Excuse me a moment while I just have a little drink. Okay, this is a great fold to, you know, you could use circle dies and stamp it, or flowers, and you know, there's lots of things that you could put for the decoration. It doesn't have to be the birdhouse, but it's a great fold for many different types of cards, different occasions, different patterns. Okay, so the final make is probably the trickiest. Or the ribbon's probably the trickiest, and it's bound to go wrong on camera, so you'll just have to bear with me on that. But it's this cute little bag, on this gorgeous iridescent ribbon. So the label is punched from the hexagon punch, and in the kit you had, I think it was 6. I did a load of 2 in this colour, 2 in grey maybe, and 2 in another colour. I think it might have been basic beige. I can't honestly remember, and I didn't do an exact replica of the kit for me, because I just didn't get the time. We had quite a busy week, some busy weeks lately, and it was a bit of a rush. So there are extra ones that you can use for sentiment layers. Okay, so I'm using this. You can choose whether you want the gorgeous blue or the pink as your outside of the bag. This is the petal pink. I need to just do cut a hexagon out of for the label, and then you just need a scrap of white for the for whatever sentiment you want. Okay, unless you can also stamp it onto there. It's up to you. So I'm not going to do the stamping just yet. I'm going to leave that to one side. This is the template I've made, and it's got all the measurements on there. You can make this in cardstock if you want a stiffer, sort of firmer little bag. You could increase the sizes, you could make it longer, you could make it slightly bigger. You could actually make it quite a lot bigger by instead of having it in one piece, you could sort of have joiners. So you could make quite a big card and a big bag and have like two bits that join together rather than it just joining. Okay, I'm going to just put the lid on the glue, and I need to put my scoring board. I'm going to use, I find you can use your trimmer and use the scoring board, the scoring blade on that. For things that are a bit more complicated, I like my scoreboard. So yes, I'm going to use the scoreboard. But as I say, you can use either. So your piece of pattern paper is 10.5 by 6 inches, which is 26.6 by 15.3 centimetres. And it is scored at 1/2 inch. And if you're using pattern paper, especially the speciality one, if you're using it with where it's got the gold and stuff on it, just be really careful scoring. Do it lightly and maybe do it a couple of times, just so that you don't, and even use the bigger end of the scoreboard, just the scoring tool, so that you don't rip the paper. Okay, so that's scored at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, then 5.5, 6, 6.5. That's 1.2, 2.5, 3.9, 14, 15.3 and 16.6 centimetres. And then you need to turn it onto the short side. Make sure it's right up in the corner and score at 1 inch. Okay, so I don't know how easy it is for you to see the score lines. Obviously it's easier when you've got it in front of you to do that. But what you need to now do with your 3 score lines on this side is cut this tab out and a little wedge, a wedge there and there and there, and then just cut that end off. So I'm actually going to start from this end because that's where I'm starting. It's easier. Okay, so you're just cutting small triangles, so it's like a little wedge of cheese, and then you need to do it on, so your first score line in up to the 1 inch score line, and then you miss the score line in the middle and you do it again on the next one. Okay, then you come along to the first score line and do your wedge, miss the middle one, and then you're doing like half of a wedge and then snipping that bit off. Okay. Okay, all of these will be on my blog website as soon as I've uploaded it all and done all the writing to go with it. But it'll have all the measurements and that. And if you have bought the kit, you will, just trying to find the thing, make sure I'm saying what, yeah. So fortunately I couldn't print it out to show you, but if you buy the online class kits, you get a photo of the finished card or item, and in this case you've also had a photo of the template with all the measurements written on it. Okay, so now I'm going to score this. So you need to, first of all, depending on what side you want to use, I'm using the pink side as the outside. You score mountain, valley, mountain. So it's like a little gusset really. And then this side again, you're going to do and just make sure it lines up. Mountain, valley, mountain. Okay, so you've got your little gussets, and obviously you need to just fold these in like so. Okay, so to fix the bag together, we're just going to put some glue, and I can find my seal. You could use tear and tape, seal, you could use liquid glue, you just need to hold it for a little bit. The advantage of liquid glue is obviously you've got that bit of wriggle room, whereas with the seal and tear and tape you don't. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. So then just line up, you can get it to line up without sticking my fingers to it. Get it to line up along that edge. And then you're going to want to fold those tabs in, and you're going to glue it just square it up with your fingers and glue it down. Okay, so that's the basic bag. For the stamping, I'm using Thoughtful Wishes and Petal Pink, and I'm gonna just stamp this off so that you don't get quite all of the stamp, but you get most of it. And instead of doing a white, I'm going to actually just stamp straight onto there. Okay, and then I've used some more of these iridescent gems. A bit of sparkle. dimensionals. Fine. And that's just been put straight onto the bag. Right, now this is probably the trickiest bit. You've got a length of ribbon, you'll have more than what you need. You're going to wrap it around the top and tie a bow. And say this really is the trickiest bit. You don't want to stick it down because this is the way you get into the bag by sliding this off. And just trying to do it so that it's as neat as possible. And then obviously you can play around with it to get it how you want it. And now I can snip that off. And so you can pull the longer bits, shorter bits. It's not quite as good as the first bow I did, but it's not too bad. And it didn't take forever. Okay, so that is the little gift bag. I'm going to move that out the way. And so we've got our fancy fold, our gift bag, the aeroplane card, and the beautiful Full of Life Designer Series paper cards. That was the 4 items for the class. Obviously, you know, if you attend in person, they take a bit longer because I do tend to send all the measurements and, you know, give the measurements and the cardstock, and you cut your own. Some of the time I'll do it where I prep the card bases and that as well. Just depends on what I'm giving out for a kit. But in all instances you get enough to make the items and a bit extra. So I hope you enjoy those cards, and any problems, do obviously get in touch. If you need me to run through anything, yeah, then, or if you've got any questions or any issues, then let me know. And just once again, thank you for buying the online card class. Okay, take care for now. Bye.